In these next series of videos, we're going to talk about how we can take entries in Excel, things that we brought into Excel, and we can manipulate them. The first couple of videos we made for this chapter dealt with taking something from outside of Excel, another Excel file, a text file, an Access database, something off the web, and importing it into Excel, incorporating it into Excel by using the data and then get data. So in this instance, we have data that may not be in the actual form. It may not be set up the way we want it. It might be all capitals, all lowercase. Text may be combined all into one cell as opposed to multiple cells. So we're going to talk about various ways that we can split that up. So the simplest way is we can combine cells. So in this instance, we have two columns, first name and last name. And what we really want those is to be in one cell. So we can actually use a combination key. So if I type in the equal sign and I click on A3, and then I use the ampersand, which is a Shift 7 key, and then I do B3. What that's going to do is it's going to combine those two cells. So think of the ampersand as replacing the word and. So what we want to do is have A3 and B3. Now there might be some issues with this, but let's see what it looks like. So we'll just hit the enter key. And you'll notice that the text that we brought together, the Mickey Mantle, and if we bring it down, we'll just copy it all the way down. It combined everything, but it's not in a really usable form because we really want to have a space. So what we're going to do is we will modify this first one. And what we want to do is we want to have A3 and a space and B3. So if you think of in terms of words how you want to combine your cells, that'll help you identify how to put the ands in. So what we want to do is we want to do a space. So anytime we want text, we always use a double quote. So we'll do a double quote, space, double quote, and then we want to combine that space with the next cell, which is B3. So we need to use the and sign again. So if we read this off, we're going to combine the cell A3 and the text, the space, and B3. Whatever you put here will appear between those two words. You may want to incorporate, if you were building an email list from people's names, you could do this. If you were wanting to combine addresses and you wanted to put commas after it, you could also use this. So we'll hit enter, and I'll copy it down. Now you'll notice that, I'll make this a little wider, that Fred Flintstone, he only has, his entry was all put in the first name. There is no last name. So you don't get an error here. It's just Excel says, all right, there's nothing there. So if we wanted to, not that it's the easiest thing to do, we could just delete Fred. And you'll notice that once I tab over to B10, you'll see that Flintstone went away. So let me put the, and then we'll type in, oops, gotta spell it right. So you'll notice that these are dynamic. They are actual cells. Well, a lot of instances you may not want to have your text all capital. So you notice this has all been capitalized. So we can use a function called proper. So if we type in equal proper, and then we click on C3, and we hit enter, you'll see that it makes it initial capital. So every word has initial capital. Now there's issues with this. Generally, if you have a name like McDuck or Van Millen, it's not going to, if it's all one word, it's not going to give you a capital letter. Now you could go through and do it yourself, or if I went over here and I just edited this and maybe put a space there, you'll see that it now will capitalize it because it's two words. Though Scrooge McDuck may not want to have his last name separated like that. So really the only thing you could do is change it afterwards. Now the problem is if I copy these, let's say I just paste them somewhere, I get nothing because it's looking for these various cells. So I'm going to delete that. So what we can do is, since these are all dynamic, we can actually copy these and make them into actual text itself as opposed to its original formulas. So I'm going to take and select these. We'll just do a copy. And then if we go to paste, and we can choose paste values. I didn't have my screen showing the toolbar, but you can see that once I hit the paste button, I have this option for paste values. But the problem is I don't want it to paste it there. I could. But I'm going to click over here on E3, and then I'm going to go to paste values. And so what this does, if you click on these are now text. So I could go down here to Scrooge McDuck, and I could delete the D and capitalize it correctly. So this can be very helpful. You can use this with any formulas or any functions that that you have. If you want just the values themselves, you don't want the actual formulas or functions that generated that. So this is just using very basic combining multiple cells. Here we just did two cells, but you can do as many cells as you want by using, again, the ampersand to combine those things, and recognize that you may need to use insert some spaces or some other characters to make the text a little bit more useful. So thank you.